We are now just 6 months away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which is set to reveal many different twists and turns, as well as revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story by director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of connections to the prequels and the originals by J.J., George Lucas, and even Chris Terrio, as well as implementing a lot of Star Wars Legends material that's going to be used as a way in order to benefit many of the main characters such as Rey and Kylo Ren in Episode 9. Now these past couple of weeks or so we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for the characters of Rey and Anakin Skywalker. Now specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of Rey meditating on top of a large boulder inside of what's described to be the Crystal Cave that serves as the entrance to the Lost City, a place full of Jedi and Sith ruins. It's described that as Rey is meditating, she is holding the Skywalker saber in both of her hands after she has reforged the hilt successfully, where as she grips onto the hilt, it's described that she begins to hear the voice of Anakin Skywalker in the forms of whispers, where she eventually hears the screams of Anakin Skywalker from Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith as well. It's described that in the film, at certain points, Rey holds a strange connection to Anakin Skywalker that will be explained in the third act by J.J. Abrams. Additionally, one of the sequences involves a moment in which Rey travels into the Lost City, where while Rey is holding her saber hilt, where she sees a shadowy figure in the distance that is said to be the apparition of Anakin Skywalker. Now, one of the sequences involves Rey walking through the Sith ruins, where as she holds the Skywalker saber, she begins to hear the screams of Anakin on Mustafar again, as well as the scream of Luke from Empire Strikes Back when he lost his hand. It's described that since Rey has reforged the saber, is when the auditory hallucinations and connections to Anakin started. The scenery is said to be dark and gritty as she walks through the Sith ruins, where John Williams was said to compose a creepy track for the sequence. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 is going to have a lot of connections to the past, as well as a lot of different revelations that's going to be made with the character of Rey. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering exactly why is there a strange connection between both Anakin Skywalker and Rey ever since she reforged the Skywalker lightsaber. Now, this could very well have something to do with her having some form of connection to the Skywalker lineage. That's very possible. You know, a lot of people have been suggesting that maybe she is from Skywalker DNA through Luke Skywalker's severed hand. That's just a thought, because they did touch on that a little bit in Star Wars Legends, and if they really wanted to, they really could canonize that in Star Wars Episode 9. So moving on forward, I want to go over the Lost City, and specifically the Crystal Cave. Now this is said to be the location in which Rey meditates in on top of a large boulder, and as she is meditating, she is holding the Skywalker saber in both of her hands. And as she meditates, she hears the distant screams and voices of Anakin Skywalker from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, these audio tracks of Anakin Skywalker are actually said to be taken directly from Episode 3 and implemented into Episode 9, where the audio is going to be pretty much modified and changed and adjusted here and there to make it almost like a dream-like experience for Rey, as she has this connection to Anakin Skywalker. Now, like I've always said, there is an element to Rey that's going to be explored and changed in Episode 9. We do know that during the rewrites of this film, that many rewrites, that took place involved Rey's lineage actually changing and evolving from start to finish of the movie. And with that being said, the fact that she has come this far, 1 year after the events of The Last Jedi, we do know that at this point in time, she's on the road to becoming a Jedi. That's going to be one of the big focus, points of Episode 9, is J.J. Abrams showing us, Rey's journey, her personal mission, her new techniques that she has learned. And the Lost City really is going to serve as a key to all of this. Now, the thing that really gets me is, why would Rey see the apparition of Anakin Skywalker in the distance, as she's also holding the Skywalker lightsaber? Again, she's got this strange connection to Anakin somehow, some way, and I think it really does open up and bring up a lot of questions that may or may not become, a big thing in the Star Wars universe, but it will get answered in Episode 9 for sure. So aside from all of this, the Crystal Cave, I cannot wait to see exactly what it's actually going to look like on the big screen. It almost sounds like they are visiting a certain world in Star Wars Legends, as well as the Star Wars canon material, except they are using that as the entrance to the Lost City. Now, the Lost City is going to be a place based within the second act of the film that's going to use itself as a way of pretty much showing the fans, the audience, different elements of Jedi and Sith lore, as well as relics and artifacts, as well as the Jedi and the Sith ruins, and offering new answers to certain burning questions from The Force Awakens that will actually be introduced and demonstrated in Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.